one of their last joint patrols. For a final few days, they must brave their demons and reflect on the sacrifices that have been made. Commanders were keen to show us what they've achieved, how Sangin has prospered, how much safer it's become. But this is what we saw. A long and brutal fight throughout much of the day. It doesn't happen all the time anymore, but it shows the Taliban still battling coalition troops. And now America must try to finish the job Britain started. Well, what's just happened now is that a 500-pound bomb has just been dropped on Taliban positions. You can hear the gunfire going on. This gun battle has really been going on, I guess, for the best part of 45 minutes. There are a couple of US Marines here with the patrol from 40 Commando Royal Marines. They're slightly concerned because they've heard that locals are moving out of the area over in that direction, 200 or 300 meters away, moving rather rapidly, which makes them concerned that perhaps the Taliban are also over in that direction. More than 10 soldiers and civilians were wounded. Medics forced to push the boundaries of emergency care. No British troops were injured this time, but they've faced too many days like this.
I find it very difficult to talk about without having someone have been there. You can't describe the smells, the sights. There's no amount of words that can describe all this. Even pictures don't seem to work. They have to actually be there and get put through the emotions to have a true understanding of what the people here go through.
Handing over to the Americans is a bittersweet moment for the troops. They're happy to be going, but there are also regrets. The mission is still far from over.
The amount of effort, time, lives lost, I do feel a little bit hollow that we didn't break this place. We didn't bring it to our way of thinking. Yeah, it's definitely. I feel a little bit heartbroken that we didn't finish it. However, I'm 100% sure the Yanks will, and that is always a good thing.
So Britain's mission in this troubled part of Helmand is coming to an end. It cost the lives of 106 men. The debate over the sacrifice and rewards goes on in a war that still shows few signs of easing. Ian Pannell, BBC News, Sangin.
The United Nations has appealed for an additional $1.6 billion to help Pakistani flood victims. UN officials said the amount of money requested reflected the enormous scale of the catastrophe, which has affected some 20 million people. Aleem Maqbool spent a week travelling along the Indus River, where floods are still causing problems. This is a compilation of his reports from Punjab and Sindh provinces.
These are sombre times in the tiny village of Pakka Galwa. The floods cut this place off from the outside world for a full month. That's something that's traumatised many here. From the damaged mosque, Mohammed Nasrullah took us through the area and we found this. A place he said no politicians and no aid agencies had been as yet. How can we survive without food, he says. We hear rumours of aid distributions, but when we go to see, we're beaten and told to go somewhere else. Until a few weeks ago, this was someone's home, and all around me are similar scenes. Of course, there was massive devastation right across Pakistan, but the people here, like in so many other communities, are poor, and even now they feel very much forgotten. Alad Ditta and his family were forced to move from what used to be their house to this borrowed tent. It's been a terrible time for us, he says. I walk to the main road hoping for handouts of food and water, but it never comes. To add to his problems, his daughter Misbah's had to have an operation after getting a severe infection. His other children are all ill from drinking dirty water, but in these circumstances, Alad Ditta and countless others like him have very few options. After so long, it's astonishing that this is a crisis that is still developing. Last week, this huge area in southern Pakistan was filled with life, but it's just been flooded. Dozens of new communities have been submerged. Hundreds more people have had to escape for their lives. In some areas, the water's several feet deep. Valuable farmland that gave people their livelihoods has been lost.